What are we doing? What's the show called?
Rundown.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Swag Jeff, welcome to the RFR Rundown. This is where we just jump in every once in a while and talk a little bit about our favorite football team, which is the Las Vegas Raiders. And we got a little bit of something to tell you guys about, something that came up short notice. And we are gonna surprisingly and shockingly, we're going to Vegas this weekend, Jeff.
Hey, we are going to Las Vegas, baby.
What up, Swaggo?
Oh, my gosh, dude. My week was good, all that stuff. We just did the show a couple days ago, but my week got a whole lot better yesterday, pal.
Oh, my gosh. It was insane. So we just want to, the reason we want to do a rundown and let you guys know what's going on is that if any of you are in Vegas this weekend for the Broncos game, hit us up, man. Come holler at us. We'll be over there in Lot J, hanging out with our buddy Gil at the tailgate, and then we'll be at the game at Allegiant Stadium. And so definitely come by and say hi. We're not doing a meetup or anything because it's just all super, super short notice. But the reason why we're going is that the Raiders invited us to go.
Hey!
Crazy. So... And we wanted to do a show because I wanted to come on here, and this is going to be a short little thing we're going to do here. I just want to say thank you. And the reason why I say that thank you is that we're being recognized. The One Nation Foundation is being recognized as a charity by the Raiders. And so we got invited to go out there and to go to the game and be hosted by the Raiders to go to this game. And so and it has nothing to do with Raiders Fan Radio. It has 100% everything to do with the One Nation Foundation. And the One Nation Foundation is built on your generosity, Raider Nation. And so we can't thank you guys enough for what you do, not so we get to go to a football game, but for what the foundation is doing and what the work the foundation is doing. That's what got the attention of the Raiders. And we're not able to give to the Max Crosby Foundation. We're not able to give to the good folks at Raider Dad. We're not able to support the Bulletnikoffs. We're not able to give to Allison King during her cancer battle. We're not able to help a guy get a new handicap or wheelchair-capable vehicle.
Yep.
We're not able to do the Greater Youth Sports Association in Las Vegas. We're not able to help all these charities without your generosity, without you hitting a like, hitting a subscribe, hitting a thumbs up, sharing the show, helping the show grow, because that generates advertising opportunities for us. It's you guys are the ones that buy merchandise, that are buying the T-shirts. It's you guys are the ones that are giving the super chats. It's you guys are the ones that are doing all this stuff. You guys are the ones that are mailing us checks, for crying out loud.
Right.
Now think about all the different ways, Jeff, that we've raised money for the foundation. It's absolutely insane, and none of that is us. It's all you, Raider Nation, so and the listeners of Raiders Fan Radio. And so I just can't thank you guys enough. Our heart is just exploding. The idea that we would be recognized by the Raiders themselves,
right?
This speaks to like what this foundation is doing based on what you guys are doing for it.
Absolutely. Yeah, much respect to Raider Nation, everyone that chipped in, kind of like what Murf said, in any way, whether it be just sharing, whether the monetary donations, the Summer of Swag participants, all that kind of stuff, and like I feel like this is like the mountaintop. This is where we really wanted to go to get the attention of the Las Vegas Raiders. That's big time because this, and yes, we get to go to the game and all that stuff. And we wish that we could bring every single person that helped us along the way, One Nation Foundation, to be sitting right alongside of us. But this is what it's all about. We have the attention now of the Raiders. So this foundation now, I feel, is about to go to an even bigger height.
Absolutely.
And that's all because of you. This started with you, Raider Nation. So thank you. Thank you. This is just incredible.
That's absolutely insane. And thank you to Scott Gobranson. Thank you to Scott, who, he's going to be making a considerable contribution to the foundation based on all the super chats and everything they get over there at Silver and Black today. That's all going to the foundation. Plus, we have another massive project that's getting ready to happen this year with Scott, where we're going to raise a crap ton of money. Thanks to the boy, Will Compton, for his generosity to the foundation. That was another guy that really jumped in with us this past year. And so, man, we're fired up, dude. I'm excited for clearly I'm always excited to go to Vegas. I'm always excited to go to a Raider game. But this game, Jeff, now with all the talk around coaching and everything, and I know we talked a little bit about it already on the show this last week, but I put out a couple of clips from the show last week, just some of my opinions about Antonio Pierce and some of my opinions about Jim Harbaugh and all that kind of stuff. And for the most part, a lot of it was well received and a lot of it wasn't. And a lot of folks out there disagree, and as we should, because, debate is the highest form of education, man. Let's talk about stuff. And so there was a sect of folks that think that I'm a blowhard, and you're right. I am, and I'm very opinionated, and that's why we do a podcast, but not unreasonable opinionated. I'm very open to hearing other sides of arguments and love to hear the other sides of those arguments. No one in this room ever sits around and pretends like we got it all figured out, like we're right. And, here's why you should listen to us.
Right.
Like, no, we want you to listen to us because we think that we can have a little fun and have a good time. It's why we call the show Lighter Journey into the Dark Side. So all that said, Jeff, I love Antonio Pierce, man. I'm not gonna shy away from that opinion. Based on all the things that we've already discussed about, how he just embodies the spirit of the Raiders, and there's an inherent value around that I think is with those intangibles that leads to victories, and that's ultimately what I want for this team. Now, does that mean if we hire Jim Harbaugh, I'll be mad or upset or No, I'll root for Jim Harbaugh too. I think 100%. You know what I mean? Like there's merit there too. So it's not about and it's so funny because I think a lot of times on Twitter, Jeff, it just becomes polarizing. That it just becomes like, well, if you're not for this guy, then you're against that guy or whatever. That's not the case at all. I supported Josh McDaniels for crying out loud
100%.
Until he completely revealed himself. Just like I supported Derek Carr forever until he revealed himself and whatever. You know what I mean? So I'll root for whoever if it could be, I don't know, anybody that comes in there. Whoever the next head coach is, I'll be cool with it. That said, as of right now today, I prefer Antonio Pierce. So since that's the case, I want us to we'll beat the shit out of the Broncos, and I think that's on the table. I think that the players understand that after laying an egg last week in Indianapolis, and this is clearly the guy they want, well, there you go. Here's your shot, man.
Put your money where your mouth is.
Your resume is on the grass, as Antonio Pierce says,
Absolutely, right? Yeah. And for the players, kind of like what I just said there, you want Antonio Pierce? Go play for him. Get that dub. You know what I mean? So, but I totally agree with what you're saying. We see people, and we saw people do it with Rich Bisaccia. I think Scott and Mo talked about it on their show. There was a lot of folks that were like, well, if Rich Bisaccia isn't going to be the head coach, then I'm out. I'm not going to root for this team. Well, here you are still a Raider fan.
Yes.
That's not going to change. Our vote is for Antonio Pierce. I love what he's done with the team. I love the development, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I think you get a capable offensive coordinator. It doesn't have to be a crazy big name because you're not going to get one with a guy like Antonio Pierce. You're not going to get the super flashy offensive coordinator. But if you have a guy that can come in, whether it be a positional coach that is ready to come up and do something else, and Mark's going to have to find that new guy, whatever. But the development that we've seen, and then, bring in a quarterback, because we talked about, and Scott and Mo talked about it a little bit too, that, we're at 8 wins, right? Or we're at 7 wins right now.
7 wins. Could get to 8.
Could be 8. If we had a good quarterback, if we had a decent quarterback that had some, functional mobility, we could be sitting at 9 or 10 right now.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Aiden O'Connell didn't lose us any games, but he did lose us a couple games. He didn't win us any games, but I think he
takes care of the football, so he wasn't it wasn't like he was throwing pick sixes. For us to lose.
100%.
You know what I mean? But if he could move the football, we'd have certainly beat the Vikings.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
100%. Yeah. So our vote is for Antonio Pierce right now, but our vote is always going to be for the Raiders. It will never change. So whoever that is, whether it be Jim Harbaugh, Antonio Pierce, whoever, any coach, that's going to be my favorite coach because he's the coach of my favorite football team, the end.
The end. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's it. You know, that's a great way to put it, you know, and I hate to just repeat what Jeff said, but yeah, we cast our votes for the Raiders. That's it. The shield is above all else when it comes to the way that and listen, I'm not telling you you be a fan however you want to be a fan. And it's so interesting how times two people take it. Is it like, oh, you can't be the gatekeeper, you can't be the fan police. Well, ain't nobody telling you you should or shouldn't do anything. I frankly don't care. It's like your fandom is your fandom. It's important to you, but my fandom is important to me. You know what I mean? And so when it comes to my fandom, I root for the Raiders above all else. I root for the Raiders that are, not the Raiders that aren't. You know, that is something that's very important to me. We can sit around and talk about what ifs, and like you just said, you're right. Well, what if we would have fired Josh McDaniels earlier? What if they didn't start Brian Hoyer? What if? We can sit around and do that all day long.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And if your aunt had balls, she'd be your uncle. You know what I mean? And so that we can play the if game. So I don't typically like to do that. I like to just kind of stay in the lane of what's the reality of it, and are there positives in said reality to take from it as a fan. That's typically kind of where I live. And then in terms of looking at other people's fandom, there's only one criteria that I would ever take into consideration, not in a judgment sense, but in just of like considering someone else's fandom, the passion in which you root for the team. The end. It doesn't matter how long you've been a fan, doesn't matter how many jerseys you have, doesn't matter how many games you got. I saw a ridiculous sentiment the other day. It was something about somebody had said on Twitter, if you're not from Los Angeles or Oakland, you can't be a Raider fan. And I'm a guy from San Jose, California. I grew up literally in the Oakland Coliseum. That said, that is one of the most ridiculous sentiments ever. And in fact, I would lobby that for fans, especially the ones that are like overseas and people that have never even set foot in the country, are some of the most diehard Raider fans you can find. And how much harder is it for them, especially back in the days before the freaking internet and the iPhones and everything? Back in the day when guys like our buddy Paul over there in England was listening to Armed Forces radio and going to the library to get newspapers to read box scores to keep up with his favorite football. He had to bust his ass to keep up with his fandom.
Right.
I would argue that's you talk about hardcore.
That's almost more passionate than any of us.
That's what I'm saying, man. So it's like, these sentiments, man, a lot of the stuff and now I'm just kind of soapboxing a little bit, but some of the sentiments, man, that are on social media that are lobbied at other fans. And listen, I'm not saying that everyone is, again, I'm not here to be right. And I know there are a lot of, in our world of podcasters and stuff, there are a lot of very opinionated people. There are people that do things for potentially nefarious reasons or self-gain or whatever. And then there are people that are completely on the up and up. Guys like our buddy Graphic Raider, you know what I mean? That is making a life for himself doing podcasting. It's freaking awesome. Like that's amazing, a dream come true. What a badass fucking darn move. You know what I'm saying? So I get it that there are millions of opinions out there and there are millions of directions and ways to take things. But ultimately at the end of the day, man, it's all about the Raiders. It's all about Raider Nation. We are the best damn fan base in all of sports. And I think at times, and we're really getting off the subject here, at times we could do a little better with each other. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, we don't need to take friendly fire.
Yeah.
Friendly fire is tough, man. And you see it all the time or whatever. But for those of you that, I don't know where you saw that if you're not from Oakland or LA
it was somebody on Twitter.
That's crazy to me because Raider Nation is the nation. Like it's everywhere. You know what I mean? Like we're in Middle Tennessee. I'm not from Oakland. My family's from the West Coast. They're from the San Diego area. But I feel like I'm a pretty passionate fan. You know what I mean? And it's worldwide. So that concept is just that. I feel like that's a weak take because, of all the different fan bases around, I feel like Raider Nation is the one that's the biggest. You know what I mean?
That's why it's Raider Nation.
Yeah, exactly.
It ain't Raider City.
No.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And listen, and I love Oakland, but it ain't the town, man. And when it comes to the Raiders, it's just not, man.
Right.
It's bigger than that.
Right.
But anyways, I guess we kind of went all over the place there.
Yeah,
but anyways, Raider Nation, it's going to be interesting. Going to be a fun game. Again, I don't see any world where we don't win this football game.
I don't either.
The Broncos are reeling. What an interesting dynamic their sideline is right now. You know what I mean? With the whole benching of Russell Wilson and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see how they come out because they don't have any reason to. They can't play spoiler to us. You know what I mean? Where we have, here's what I guess what I'm trying to say. It feels like the Raiders have purpose in this game, even though there are no postseason ramifications. There is no, whether it be for us or knocking someone else out or whatever, there are ramifications for this football team based on what's going to happen this Sunday.
Sure.
There's going to be while I would like to think in my own mind, Mark has already made up his mind, or at least understands the direction he's going in based on, I think there's enough evidence already to understand what he's going to do, but say he doesn't, and maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's still in an evaluation period of what this team looks like under this head coach. And if they go out there and beat the ever-loving shit out of another divisional opponent, and that man ends with a winning record, 3 of them against divisional rivals where we have struggled, not against the Broncos per se, but struggled in the division.
Yeah.
Okay, what else? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I don't know what else, what other kind of things, and some other comments, Jeff, that were out there too about, AP's lack of success. Like, AP can be a nice story, but we want to win a Super Bowl, it's got to be Jim Harbaugh. You know what I mean? Kind of a thing. And I don't know, man. I just don't see that. And I still, the idea, and our buddy Mo Moten has said this. He said it's kind of come down to one guy or the other. I don't know if it is. I don't understand where the conviction in people is that Jim is automatically going to jump to the NFL and he's automatically going to jump to the Raiders if he does. I think those are such foregone conclusions that people are making. And I think it doesn't line up to me as much as I think folks are making it sound like, Jeff. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And again, get just an opinion of it. And I know that the tea leaves have kind of read that with the whole hiring of the agent and all that kind of stuff. But he also has a big old contract on the table from Michigan to be considered too. So I think there are so many other considerations. What if he wins the Natty? You think after just knocking off Nick Saban and Alabama, and then he goes and wins the Natty? And now he's got a chance to cement a legacy in college football at his alma mater. I don't know, dude. I just don't see it like it's a automatic jump for him.
Yeah, I don't either. And I do understand the appeal of Jim Harbaugh. He's an established guy. Wherever he goes, he wins. All that kind of stuff. When he took over in San Francisco was not great, and he flipped it around fairly quick. So I understand that appeal, and, obviously he's a big name and all that kind of stuff. But what have we been having the most fun watching this year for the Raiders in the second half of the season? It's that the team is together. He's got certain people playing. Well, if you bring Jim Harbaugh in, you have to wipe the slate completely clean. Jim may not like Malcolm Kuntz. He may not like Zamir White. He may not like Jack Jones. So all these people that we've kind of started to fall in love with in the second half of the season, a lot of that's going to go away. That, yes, Jim Harbaugh probably has his own level of swag and, his, connection with players and stuff like that, but not like Antonio Pierce, not like the Raider way. We talked about last show, this is an Al Davis hire. This is an OG Raider hire if the Raiders bring in Antonio Pierce in the long term, because Al was doing that forever. You know what I mean? Like what you said, the most prominent example of that was John Madden.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like what would have happened in 1969 or whatever, whenever John Madden was hired, if Al Davis said, well, it's, we're a top dog. We've made it to the, Super Bowl a couple times. I need a big name guy.
Need a big name coach.
You know what I mean? Like he just hires from within. So this is an old school Raider. And I understand that it's Vegas and it's not Oakland and it's not LA and any of that kind of stuff, but it's still the freaking Raiders,
Raiders.
So, we were fortunate enough after the Biletnikoff event in November to be there to see Antonio Pierce's first game as the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. And now here we are, full circle, at the end of the season, week 18. We have the opportunity to see the last game of the season as well for Antonio Pierce. Raiders, let's not make it the last game.
Amen. Well said, Jeff. And something else too I thought about with Harbaugh while you were talking there. There's another piece I think that people are not considering. He's going to want his guys, clearly, right?
Totally.
As you mentioned. And I think that even includes in the front office. Now, I'm not saying that Champ Kelly isn't retained, which everybody is pretty much in unison on that one.
Sure.
Do you think Jim's going to be willing to defer on some decision making to Champ Kelly?
Nope.
To a guy that's going to be kind of an unproven GM at this point?
Exactly. Yeah, Jim Harbaugh is going to run that entire
He's
draft.
going to be, and I don't think he's going, and I've heard people comparing it, oh, it's going to be like Gruden all over again. No, I don't think it's going to be like Gruden all over again. They're two different guys. But that relationship might be more like where,
Sure.
or even Josh McDaniels, where they're the 51% in the room and the GM is the 49. I don't think that's a healthy thing for the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
I think a 50-50, we know there's a great working relationship between AP and Champ Kelly.
Yep.
We know that because AP knows what he doesn't know, and he is going to be very willing to work within the organization with his staff, and including Champ Kelly. So I would hate to see a guy like Harbaugh come in and override what that young GM has the potential to do with the team. I just, guys like Harbaugh, Gruden, McDaniels, Bill Parcells famously said it. If you want me to cook in the kitchen, you got to let me shop for the groceries. Well, nowadays in the NFL, I don't think it's healthy. Ask Bill Belichick how that's working out, right? You got to have a healthy balance between head coach and GM, man. And I don't know if you get that with Jim Harbaugh. I'm not saying you don't. This isn't I'm not trying to make it all one thing or the other. I'm not saying it couldn't be that, but it's unlikely to me that someone with that level of resume is going to go into to the office there in Henderson and defer decision making to a guy that's unproven. It doesn't add up to me.
Yeah, no, it doesn't add up to me either. And that for those of you, because I feel like right now Raider Nation is, I've seen a lot more division in whether to keep AP or bring Harbaugh in.
This is almost like Derek Carr level shit.
It's really getting to that point, But for those of you that do want Harbaugh, you just better be ready for JJ McCarthy to be your quarterback. The end. I don't think it matters any of the other big name guys. If you like Jaden Daniel, you like Michael Penix, any of that, you ain't getting them. You ain't getting them if Harbaugh. No, you don't think Harbaugh is going to bring in JJ McCarthy? The end.
I don't know, man. I don't know if
I'm telling you, man. If that happens,
because he's going to want to win. Right? That's the bottom line.
But look how highly he thinks of J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah, but you don't think that's fluff going into the championship game?
Hell no.
Okay.
Hell no.
Okay.
No. J.J. McCarthy will be your quarterback week 1 in the 2024 season if Jim Harbaugh's the head coach.
Ooh,
the end.
All right.
The end.
Bookmark that one, Twitter.
Or don't if they hire Antonio Pierce. And we can take a pick of whoever else.
Right. Well, and it's so funny. And Mo, speaking of Mo, he chose violence this morning when he said that here we are talking about AP and Jim Harbaugh, and it's going to be a rehire of John Gruden, and he's going to bring in Kirk Cousins.
Oh, well, there you go.
And there you go. And that would be some Raider shit.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah. So, all right. Hey, Raider Nation, we love you guys so very, very much. Kind of go full circle here. Thank you. We appreciate you. And I cannot thank you enough for the support that you give the One Nation Foundation. We love you guys so very, very much. If you're in Vegas this weekend, come holler at your boy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or your boys and girl. Michelle will be there as well.
Yep.
Be myself, Swaggo, and Michelle there. We'll be out there in the tailgates. And we're going to have a ton of content coming to you guys as well. We'll have a bunch because it's just going to be the three of us.
Yep.
So we'll have plenty of opportunity to fire off a bunch of video.
Absolutely.
In fact, Scott wants us to take a bunch of videos and then send it to him, and he's going to stitch it together for us.
Oh, good.
And make a nice little reel out of it.
Good.
So, so look for a ton of stuff here on the channel. Probably coming to you live from the stadium, all that good stuff. So we'll have that coming to you this weekend. And love you, Raider Nation. Let's go beat the Broncos.
That's right. Thanks for everyone for listening. Man, we started this thing. We turned on the mics. We turned on the audio right here. Really just to say thank you. Thank you for all of your support for the One Nation Foundation because of you, the Raiders noticed us, bruh. They noticed the foundation. They see the good work that we're doing, and that's all because of you. It started with you, and we got other folks to jump on because of you. So much respect to you all, and much respect to the Raiders, too, for noticing the good work we're doing, and they decided to extend a hand and go, hey, how about you come join us on Sunday? So much respect. We hope to see you there at the tailgate. Like Murph said, we'll be in Lot J, hanging out with Fabricator Gil. I'm sure we'll be popping over and seeing Josh Caminite at Raider Dad. all that good stuff. So thanks, everyone, for everything that you do, your constant, unrelenting support. We can't thank you enough. We love you. We'll see you Sunday. And yes, like Murph said, let's go beat the shit out of the Broncos.
Let's go.
Thanks for tuning in for a Raiders Fan Radio Rundown, where we take a lighter side journey into the dark side. Don't forget, boys and girls, what happens in Vegas started in Oakland.
Get out, YouTube.
Goodbye. I gotta start packing.
I know, right? Oh, let's go. Shout out Party Foul. 5:30 a.m.
Screwdrivers, we coming for you, bruh.
Get them ready.